The Carl B. Phillips Show.
Hosted by me, Carl B. Phillips, Uncle Carl.
The Carl B. Phillips Show.
Get ready for another great conversation on the Carl B. Phillips Show. Welcome to the Carl B. Phillips Show. I am Carl B. Phillips, Uncle Carl. Today's guest is from Detroit, Michigan. She is a mother, recording artist, worship leader, speaker, mentor, the host of the Ladies Lounge podcast, and she believes in fitness for the body, mind, and soul. Please welcome to the Carl B. Phillips Show, Leila Taraneh. Did I get it right?
Oh, yes, you did.
Well, I'm so glad to have you on here and glad that we finally get an opportunity to talk. Now, I warned you, I'm going to ask some random questions.
Okay.
So this is the first random question.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to an amusement park, are you the one that's going to ride rides? Are you the one that's going to walk around, eat, and people watch?
Oh, that's a good question. It depends. It depends because I don't like riding like the super high rise because I had a bad experience going on the Millennium Force some years ago.
Okay.
So if it's not that tall, I'll get on the rides. But if people are saying they want to get on the dragster or something like that, I'll be like, no, count me out. So, so it just depends on the height of the ride.
Now, I'm the exact opposite. I've ridden the dragster, Millennium Force. When I was in Dubai, I wanted to ride the world's fastest roller coaster.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, 150 miles an hour outside. So I'm the exact opposite. I cannot stand going to amusement park with people who just want to walk around and eat.
Oh my goodness.
I want to ride the biggest and baddest ride. Yeah. When I hit my 50s, that was my midlife crisis to travel the country riding roller coasters. Well, today is not about me. It's about you. When we met at an event that Craig Mizell put together right after the 5 for 5 recording. I remember meeting you and I'm like, she is so meek and humble.
Aww.
But in this past year or so, I'm like, whoa, she got a whole lot going on. And then as I started reading your bio and started looking at your Facebook page, I'm like, wow, she really does have a lot going on. I want to talk about first, you're being a mother. Talk about what being a mother means to you and what are some of the things you've learned since being a mother?
Being a mother to me is being nurturing, being observant, being caring. You're caring for someone else, outside of yourself. And, me being a mother to my daughter, and she turns 11 next month and she's going to middle school. And like the things that I have learned being a mother is, just really paying attention to your child or your children, seeing what they are good at, seeing what their gifts are in. And once you notice their gifts and their talents, then it's up to you as the parent to nurture that gift, to nurture that skill and train them up. And then also, like with us living in today's society, and how church isn't important, God isn't really important. It's important for me as her mother to instill the fear of God into her and to raise her on the morals and the beliefs that I was raised on growing up in the church, and just always making sure that, she understands who God is, and that she knows him for herself, and that she has a heart and a mind to worship God and to live for God. So that's just a short snippet of what I think being a mother is in today's time.
You bring up an interesting point because this is a generation that they state doesn't need God, because there's no struggle for this generation.
Mm-hmm.
How do you navigate that conversation with your daughter about the importance of needing God in her life?
One thing I will say is my daughter, she listens. I don't have like those nightmare stories that other parents may have concerning their children, not really listening to them or whatever. But I just have random conversations with her, and, I just ask her, see what her viewpoint is, ask her, what are they teaching in school? And then asking her what her take is concerning, things in church, concerning things of God. And I I segue from those conversations into the part where I instill the morals and beliefs. Thankfully, her father and I, we have like given her a solid foundation early on. And then we also have a village that also have the same belief system as we do concerning Jesus Christ. And so it's really true when they say it takes a village to raise a child. And, our village helps assist us in instilling those things into her and making sure that as she gets older, she continues to hold on to those truths. So,
Wow, you
yes,
sound like
sir.
an awesome mother.
Thank you.
And also, in being a mother, you're also a mentor. How has being a mother impacted what you do as a mentor?
Oh, I will definitely say, and I actually um, just walked into that space of being a mentor slash coach. Um, and so one thing I will definitely say, I'm not experienced. I would say I don't have a lot of experience in doing it, but I will say me being a mother has helped me a lot in terms of mentoring other people, because again, it goes back into the nurturing aspect. It goes back into um, training, instilling everything that you do as a mother with your children. You're basically doing it with the people that you are mentoring. Of course, they're grown. You can't, tell them what to do because they're not your child. But at the same time, when they come to you for advice and they come to you for guidance and direction, you have to take on the approach of listening, being observant, and also seeking God for answers so that way you can steer them on the right path. Same way as we do with how we raise our children.
So it sounds like you tie in. As I was reading your bio, that you're a licensed missionary. Excuse me. You tie in ministry, motherhood, and mentoring. I just made up something new. The three M's. Um,
Yes.
yeah, you can put that on there. I'm a missionary, I'm a mentor, and I'm a mother. Um,
Uh-huh.
but you're combining all three of those. How do you feel that's working for you to combine those three?
I will definitely say collectively as a whole, it does work together because I can glean from each aspect. Has it been challenging at times? Yes, because as I stated before, like mentoring, I'm just walking into that space and there's a lot of things that I have to learn in regards to that aspect of what I do. But it definitely helps. Um, I can glean from different aspects and pull them into other aspects as well. So overall, it's been a journey, but it's been rewarding, and it has definitely caused me to stretch beyond my comfort zone for sure.
Well, speaking of stretching, earlier this year you launched the Ladies Lounge podcast.
Yes.
What is the purpose and what are some of the things that you discuss on the podcast?
So just a little backstory. So Ladies Lounge, I originally launched it 4 years ago when I was
Mhm.
pastoring, and life happened, and I dropped the ball. And last summer, the Lord told me, you need to pick this back up. It's urgent because there are women that are waiting to hear your voice. And so I hesitated at first, but then it was one of those things where God was like, no, you have to do this. It's a matter of life or death for you, you know. And so I did relaunch the Ladies Lounge Women's Ministry February of this year. And honestly, when I relaunched it, I technically was not going for the podcast feel for it. I just wanted to go live and encourage the women. And we literally grew to over 1,200 women in one
Wow.
month. And the Lord has definitely blessed. But the purpose of Ladies Lounge, it is a women's organization. It is centered around health, wellness, and faith. And when I originally started this women's ministry, the Lord had told me that in order for us as women to be effective in every area of our lives. We have to be healthy mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, and physically. If we're not healthy in all 5 of those areas, then we cannot expect for us to be effective and efficient in our calling and in our purpose. And so we're focused on the total woman. We're not just going to talk about kingdom, but we also focus on the practical aspect, the natural aspect of life as well. So that's basically the message of the Ladies Lounge Women's Organization / Ministry.
So if people want to check out the podcast, how can they follow your podcast? How can they subscribe to your podcast?
So I do have a link tree link that is attached to my Facebook and Instagram page. And when you click that, you will see the option to go and take a listen to our podcast videos, or I should say audio videos. And so my Facebook page is Leila Taraneh, and my Instagram page is at I am Leila Taraneh, and you just click on the link tree, the link in the bio, and it's right there.
So one of the things, again, when I was doing the research on you, you like to work out, and you just kind of talk about the fitness aspect of it. How
Mhm.
did you get into bringing the fitness aspect into what it is that you do?
So again, as I stated, Ladies Lounge, we're centered around health, wellness, and faith. So when I had first launched Ladies Lounge, I was diagnosed with endometriosis. Thankfully, the Lord healed me from that. But endometriosis, it affects our health, our hormonal levels. It affects our fertility in women. And so when I found out about that, I used Ladies Lounge as a platform to help bring awareness to that. And so one thing I will definitely say is the fitness aspect of my life is basically me being accountable to myself, and just allowing other people to see, like, okay, I'm not just going to talk about health, wellness, and faith, but I have to be about it as well.
Mhm.
So part of the reason as to why I do post about it is it's the matter of accountability for me in a sense. So
And you
yeah.
be getting it in, girl. I'm telling you, I'm like, ooh, stretching stuff. I'm
It
like,
is not easy, because let me tell you, yesterday I did not want to go, but you know, I just turned 30 this year. And so I'm now really seeing like people always tell me, like, the older you get, you need to exercise, and I'm seeing now that I'm beginning a new decade, like why it's important for us to work out on a consistent basis. Because if I don't work out for 24 hours, that next day I definitely feel it, like my body is sore and everything, and I'm like, no, I have to work out so that way I can continue to feel good in my body and
wow.
keep my joints going. So yes, sir.
All right. Next random question.
Mhm.
What is your favorite breakfast food?
Oh, okay, so I have a confession. So I don't normally eat breakfast. Now I make sure my daughter eats breakfast. I'll cook her breakfast food or whatever. But normally for breakfast, I'll like drink like some herbal tea and some water, or I may have a piece of fruit. But if I have like a craving for breakfast food, it's normally later in the day, like in the evening time. And my go-to is a good scrambled veggie omelet with hash browns. And that's my go-to.
Scrambled veggie omelet with hash browns. Okay, so you know I'm gonna ask what veggies.
Mainly mushrooms, green peppers, and onions.
Okay, I can get
So
with
the
that.
basic trio.
You posted that you had an opportunity to work with Kirk Franklin. What was that
Yes.
experience like?
Oh my goodness. So I actually received the call from my big sis, Tasha Page Lockhart. Um, and she hit me up and said, hey, because Kirk Franklin and Maverick City was in Detroit last year on their tour. And so she hit me up and said, hey sis, like Kirk Franklin, he needs to, you know, do some things in preparation for the BET Awards. And he needs a soprano. So you need to come with us after the concert and we go into the studio. And I have to say, like, leading up to this, to that point, right before going to the studio, I was like nervous and everything. And Tasha, she told me, you know, Leila, you don't have to worry about anything. You know, he's cool. Now, I've heard that about a lot of other people. Like, oh, they're cool. You don't have to worry about it. So I was thinking in my head, like, yeah, okay. But when I actually got to the studio and we started working with him, I have to say that is the most comfortable I have felt being in a studio ever with any producer, with anybody that I'm working with. Like Kirk Franklin, he makes you feel so comfortable and he welcomes all mistakes. And then like you can think you made a mistake and he's like, oh, no. We can use that. You know, we can tweak that and we can use that. Don't worry about it. And he's very easygoing. And he dropped so many nuggets. Like I still have an audio recording on my phone of him just dropping gems for like a whole hour after the session. Now, mind you, at this point, it's like 4 a.m.
Wow.
And he's just dropping gems, and me and the other people that were in there, like we were just asking him questions just about the industry and about music. And one thing that I definitely took away and held dear to my heart that he talked about most was making sure that you're having fun doing what you're doing and making sure that this is your passion. Because if it's not your passion and you're not having fun doing it, it's going to show through how you perform. It's going to show through your singing. And so, yeah, it was definitely a life-changing moment and experience for me.
Wow. Now, the first time I remember seeing you sing background was for the 5 for 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met you the next day. I'm like, wait a minute, that's the young lady that was up there singing 5 for 5. Talk about your relationship with Craig Mizell, singing background for the 5 for 5. Talk a little bit about that.
So it was a great experience. I've known Craig for a couple of years, and he's known my brother for a long time. And so it's amazing how like a lot of people that I'm working with now, they've known my brother much longer. And then when they find out that, you know, my brother is who he is to me, they're like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. So it was basically like that situation with Craig, and working with him for the 5 for 5 as a BGV. It was a great experience. I've been singing BGVs for a lot of prominent artists like Kiara Shear, Tasha Lockhart, Jonathan Nelson, and all of the other greats. I've sang BGVs for like the last 15, 16 years. And so it didn't take anything away from me being an artist to be a BGV for Craig for the 5 for 5, because one thing about me, I love studying BGV parts. I love like just getting in and working. And so one thing I will definitely say, being a BGV, it helps sharpen my gift. It helps sharpen my ear. And yeah, it was amazing. I can't wait to hear the rest of the music being released from that 5 for 5 live recording. And yeah, I'm excited.
Some of the music that come out is now like some of my favorite. The Lexi song, the Hallelujah, Amen.
Yes.
Darius song. What's the other one? I Still Say Yes.
Yes.
Her name slips me right now.
Dina
Nicole. Yes. You know, Yamani. So just the stuff that he's just dropping is great music.
Yeah.
Well, we talked a lot about everything else, but we need to talk about I'll Make It With You.
Yes.
So I was a little surprised when I pulled up the writers of the song. Amir Edwards.
Yes.
Kiara Daffin.
Kira, yes.
Kira, I always want to call her Kira. Kira Daffin.
Yes.
And you.
Yes, sir.
Talk about the story behind the song and talk about working with your friends.
So I'm going to try to make this quick because the backstory. So, preparing for the live recording, because I had a live recording on Black Friday of 2021. But prior to that, I had an episode where I was trying to commit suicide 3 times. I literally attempted to do that. And literally, like right after that, the Lord downloaded my first song that I've ever written. Now, mind you, I've been singing for years, but never like tried to write at all. And the Lord had basically pushed me into a space to where he's like, there's music that I want to download to you, and you need to release it. You need to do a live recording this year before this year is over with, because there is a portal that is open right now for you to move and act upon this. And so if you miss this opportunity, this may never come again. Wow. And so long story short, in the process of writing the songs and everything, this particular song, my single, I'll Make It With You, I got with my big sis, Kira Daffin, and my bro, Amir Edwards. And, we were just thinking about what I was enduring in that moment and what I had just came out of prior to that moment. And, it just was evident that I only made it because of the grace of God. Mm-hmm. I could not have made this on my own. I couldn't have made it through without the help and the strength of God. The times I did try to do it on my own, I failed. And so that's basically the message that this single is conveying to the listeners, that, it doesn't matter what you're dealing with. It doesn't matter how deep in your pit that you are in this particular space in your life. God is a mighty God, and he will lift you up out of there, and he will pull you through and take you and cross you over to the other side, as long as you understand and realize that your hope is in him, your strength is in him. So that's basically the message of the single.
So I had an opportunity to see you sing the single in Vegas.
Yes.
Yes. I got the video. I got receipts. I was teasing Craig earlier that day, like, I'm going to this event because I want to see you sing. Oh. Talk about the experience of doing the pre-shows in Vegas for Stellar Week.
Oh my goodness. I learned a lot. And just in that short period of time, I've grown a lot. I'm not going to get too deep into it because I am going to do a video about it. But I will say, like, my experience in doing those shows, it definitely stretched me. And anybody that knows me, I am normally a person that's into praise and worship, or I do prophetic flow. So the single that I have is a completely different vibe, and it's taking me out of my comfort zone. So actually performing it on that scale at the Stellars, in front of different executives, in front of different artists and other prominent people, it definitely pushed me. And it pushed me in terms of my level of confidence within myself, because honestly, Craig, Mizell, and Kevin Stewart, they were working with me with the artist development of, preparing me for the Stellars, leading up to it. And one thing they just kept telling me is like, Leila, get out of your head, get out of your head. And I will definitely say, like, being on those platforms, it definitely showed me how you have to have a level of confidence within yourself, so that way you can convey the message with confidence. And then also learning how to utilize the stage, not as a praise and worship leader, but as an artist, because there is a distinct difference in how you present yourself as a worship leader and as an artist. So learning those different aspects and being able to connect with so many prominent people through those events, it was a wonderful experience. And I was very intentional and I can't wait to go bigger next year.
So, and you dressed sharp. You was fly.
Thank
I
you.
was like, I saw the picture. Like, okay, she came to represent. She represented
Yes,
D
gotta
well.
represent Detroit all the way.
I really appreciate this time with you today. I've learned so much about you.
Thank
Once
you.
again, let people know how they can follow you.
So you can follow me on Instagram at I am Leila Taraneh. You can follow me on TikTok at Leila Taraneh, Facebook Leila Taraneh, and then if you want to follow my women's ministry on Facebook, it is called The Official Ladies Lounge, and then also on Instagram, it is called at Officially Ladies Lounge.
In 30 seconds, as we wrap up, talk to someone whose life is off kiltered and how they can have a balanced life in 30 seconds.
You can have a balanced life. It's a matter of you relying and depending on God. And that's the spiritual aspect, asking God to lead and guide you. The Bible says, in all thy ways acknowledge him and he will direct your path. And that is in every aspect, in terms of wisdom, in terms of strategy, in terms of instructions and direction. And then outside of that, the natural aspect is also making the choice to live a balanced life, because you can have the wisdom, you can have the knowledge to do what it is that you need to do. But if you don't make the choice to follow through and do what you have to do, then you can't expect your life to be balanced if you don't make that choice. So definitely rely and depend on God. And once you do that, make the necessary choices to live a balanced life.
Ooh, I have enjoyed this interview. So we've met, we've seen each other out and about, but I've learned so much about you. Again,
Yes,
everybody,
sir.
I'm Carl B. Phillips. This is the Carl B. Phillips Show. I'm Uncle Carl. Just a reminder, remember to work like you don't need the money, love like you've never been hurt, and dance like no one's watching you. God bless until we meet again.
The Carl B. Phillips Show.
Thank you for listening to the Carl B. Phillips Show. For more information, go to carlbphillips.com.
The Carl B. Phillips Show.
Follow Carl B. Phillips on Instagram so we can stay in contact with each other.